Hello, this is Mark Sobowitz with the Clarion Voice. Today we have the opportunity to do something different. And you know that from the past that we've done a lot of interviews and of spiritual leaders, but today we're going to solicit the testimony of one of the women that is involved with Victory Outreach in Paso Robles, and her name is Daniela. And Daniela, we appreciate you being here and giving your testimony today. Thank you very much. Tell me, how long have you been involved with Victory Outreach, first of all?
I'm going on my 8 months in the home.
Okay. And what got you there? What was your life beforehand?
I was just bound to Satan. I was running crazy. I was doing drugs, heroin, fentanyl, meth. I started dealing a lot. I started stripping. I was chasing the money. I forgot all about my kids. I pushed my kids. I have 4 kids. They were a burden in my life. So, I chose to chase the money instead of, to better my life and to give it to Jesus Christ. One day I was, on the run. Well, my husband was on the run. We were going to Mexico. We got pulled over. And that was when my life changed. And that wasn't God's plan to go hide in Mexico. It was for me to come back to Paso, where I'm from, and to change my life. I was staying with a friend, and it was okay, but it wasn't, something was still missing. And I know Pastor Pete and Sister Becky had been trying to get me into a home for about 2 years, and I bucked and kicked. But it was almost 8 months ago where I just surrendered, and I called them and I said, I need the home. Do you have a bed available? And they said yes, and that's when I walked into the home.
Okay. So what was the defining moment as far as you wanting to surrender to the Lord and to actually getting into the house?
What do you mean, like what?
Well, I mean, what was the moment that you suddenly realized, wait a minute, I want to have a better life. I want to go into this Victory Outreach program. And
I feel like it was just like I said, my kids were a burden in my life. I tried to kill my mom a few times, and by the God's grace, she's back in my life. It took a little bit. I wanted to push her to, forgiving me for drugging her and doing all these things. And it wasn't just once, it was multiple times. I didn't like her. I hated her, and I didn't want her around. So it was a fact that I had to lose everything and see that I had nobody in my life anymore that was willing to co-sign for all the stuff I've been doing. I have 4 kids, 18, 16, 14, and 8 years old. And they didn't want anything to do with me. I was stuck in a car, just calling people to help, and I had burned all my bridges completely from the things that I have done, burning people to just, everything that it was in those moments that I felt like, it wasn't who I was, and I wanted to bring it back and find who I was again, because I lost myself a long time ago.
okay.
I had kids really young, and I felt like I really lost myself. So that's basically what it was. I felt like there was nothing, and I don't even want to say that I felt God was gravitating me towards the home, but I still hadn't fully surrendered.
Okay. What is your role at the house now?
3 months into the home, well, okay, so I went into the home. So like I said, I didn't surrender fully, but about a month went on to the home, and I got my first phone call from my kids. It had been 2 years since I had seen them or talked to them. It was a really overwhelming feeling. I didn't feel like I knew what to say to them. I was happy, but I was so confused that I ended up leaving that day because I almost got into it with one of the girls. So I ended up leaving, and I stayed out for 4 days, came back just beaten up, I was on fentanyl and heroin and came back with no shoes on, knocking at the window. And that's when my life changed. That's when I fully surrendered. I came back better than I came in. You know, I may have looked more tore up, but I at that point knew that like I was gonna die. God told me the next time I left, I was gonna die. I wasn't gonna come back in the home. So 3 months after that, I became room leader into the dorm, and shortly after that, 6 or 7 months in, I'm now staff. God's really transformed my life, working with the women, reminding me that it's not about me anymore, that it's about, that gives me just to be able to have the women come up to me and ask me and, you know, for advice, and just that I can be there for them because God's pouring into me that I can pour into them. It reminds me that I have a purpose and that I'm not, you know, what the enemy once told me, you know, that I'm no good, you know. I go through my battles, but I definitely know that God has appointed me for this position for a reason. I'm strong and bold, and I'm not afraid to speak my mind, but it's in a different aspect now.
What are your future goals?
My future goals are to graduate the home. So I'll graduate in June. And after that, allow God to just show me what my next steps are. I'm going to start school in March, and hopefully get my license back, because through child support and everything, you know, they took away my license. So I want to work on establishing getting things back that were taken from me because I just let them go. So just really focusing on going to school, getting my license back, allowing myself to be used, however that means in the church, saying yes and amen and not fighting back and just being involved.
Do you have relationships with your children now?
I do. It had been, like I said, 2 years, but their dad, the younger children, my younger children's father was like, you can't see them. There's child support order, everything. But shortly into the home, God worked fast. And I now see my kids like on a weekly basis. If not, I don't see them. I talk to them. I go on regular visits with my mom. She comes to pick me up, and she has me over at her house, which is a praise report in its own self. She comes and attends church. So yeah, God is working fast.
Absolutely. If you were to say something to a young woman who is watching this, or hopefully will watch it, what would you say to them about your life and Victory Outreach and what they can do to help them?
I would say to take it serious, that, you know, life is but a breath. Like, it goes and it comes and it goes so fast. But to just not be so selfish and to think of our own wants and our own needs, but to think of, you know, like, there's so much more out there. God offers like the healing, the worry to just fall off of you. I was so worried all the time. And I know that, you know, when I pressed in and I prayed and I fellowship with other women, that the home Victory Outreach Paso Robles, it's something that's not happening anywhere else. We're covered in love. Like, our pastors love us deeply, like their own children. They take their time to sit there and to talk to us. And when we're throwing fits, you know, they work it out with us, instead of pushing us to the side. They spend their time. So I would just encourage the women women or men to really just surrender and to seek help and to ask for help, because Victory Outreach Paso Robles is the only thing. I'm 37 in my whole life that has ever changed me, and I've done a lot of things, but this is the one and only thing that has ever changed me. And I thank God for that.
If someone, a young woman or an older woman for that matter, wanted to get in contact with you, to talk with you directly, how would they do that?
They can reach Pastor Pete or Sister Becky on Facebook. We have our 2919 Union Road. That's where our church is. We do fellowship. So we have our Monday ministry, the Spanish speaking Tuesdays. We have Teacher Mike. They can always come to 1616 Pine Street for a teaching. We have Wednesday prayer. That's 6:30 in the morning with Sister Bonnie. They can log on to Zoom and ask for a prayer request. They can be seen on video, or they don't even have to be on video. Thursdays we have our Holy Ghost, and we also have our service at our church as well, and they can come to that. And then Friday's Women's Night at the Women's Home. Saturday is evangelizing, where we go out to the streets and we try to reach the people that are in the river bottoms, or, just to give them hope. And then Sundays are Sunday celebration, where we have church. So there's all through the week, we're always doing something, and they can stop into the home at any time, for anything. We offer blankets, socks, toothbrushes, clothes. We have a woman that lives in the river bottom that comes for clothes and food. We make her sandwiches. So we're always willing to serve the community.
Okay. Thank you, Daniela, very much. We really appreciate the testimony you gave to us. And if you like this video, I heartily recommend that you share it with someone that you know that is hurting and needing the help of an organization like Victory Outreach. And also in the future, if you are watching this and you would like to give your testimony as to how the Lord changed your life, please get in contact with us through our YouTube channel, A Clarion Voice. And at all times, like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Mark Sobowitz with A Clarion Voice.